أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. ربي أعوذ بك من همزات الشياطين وأعوذ بك ربي يحضرون. ربي أعوذ بك من همزات الشياطين وأعوذ بك ربي يحضرون. ربي أعوذ بك من همزات الشياطين وأعوذ بك ربي يحضرون. أفحسبتم أنما خلقناكم عبثا وأنكم إلينا لا ترجعون. فتعالى الله الملك الحق لا إله إلا هو رب العرش الكريم. ما يدعو مع الله إلها آخر لا برهان له به فإنما حسابه عند ربه إنه لا يفلح الكافرون. وقل رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. فسبحان الله حين تمسون وحين تصبحون وله الحمد في السماوات والأرض وعشيا وحين تظهرون. يخرج الحي من الميت ويخرج الميت من الحي ويحيي الأرض بعد موتها وكذلك تخرجون. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله. وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون. والله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر. سبحان الله عما يشركون. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. سلام على نوح في العالمين إن كذلك نجزي المحسنين إنه من عبادنا المؤمنين. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء هو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء هو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء هو السميع العليم. اللهم إني أصبحت منك في نعمة وعافية وستر فأتم نعمتك علي وعافيتك واسترك في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إني أصبحت منك في نعمة وعافية وستر فأتمم نعمتك علي وعافيتك وسترك في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إني أصبحت منك في نعمة وعافية وستر فأتمم نعمتك علي وعافيتك وسترك في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إني أصبحت أشهدك وأشهد حملة عرشك وملائكتك وجميع خلقك أنك أنت الله لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك وأن سيدنا محمدا عبدك ورسولك. اللهم إني أسبح أشهدك وأشهد حملة عرشك وملائكتك وجميع خلقك أنك أنت الله لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك وأن سيدنا محمدا عبدك ورسولك. اللهم إني أصبحت أشهدك وأشهد حملة عرشك وملائكتك وجميع خلقك أنك أنت الله لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك وأن سيدنا محمدا عبدك ورسولك. اللهم إني أصبحت أشهدك وأشهد حملة عرشك وملائكتك وجميع خلقك أنك أنت الله لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك وأن سيدنا محمدا عبدك ورسولك. الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيده. الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيدا. الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيدا. آمنت بالله العظيم كفرت بالجبت والطاغوت واستمسكت بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله السميع العليم. آمنت بالله العظيم وكفرت بالجبت والطاغوت واستمسكت بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله السميع العليم. آمنت بالله العظيم وكفرت بالجبت والطاغوت واستمسكت بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله السميع العليم. آمنت بالله العظيم وكفرت بالجبت والطاغوت واستمسكت بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله السميع العليم. رضيت بالله ربا بالإسلام دينا سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم نبيا ورسولا. رضيت بالله ربا بالإسلام دينا سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم نبيا ورسولا. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا بسيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم نبيا ورسولا. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت هو رب العرش العظيم. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت هو رب العرش العظيم. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت هو رب العرش العظيم. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت هو رب العرش العظيم. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت هو رب العرش العظيم. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت هو رب العرش العظيم. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت هو رب العرش العظيم. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت هو رب العرش العظيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم. 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 اللهم إني أسألك من فجاءة الخير وأعوذ بك من فجاءة الشر. اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعت. أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت. أبوء لك بنعمتك علي وأبوء بذنبي فاغفر لي فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت. اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت عليك توكلت وأنت رب العرش العظيم. ما شاء الله كان وما لم يشاء لم يكن. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. أعلم أن الله على كل شيء قدير وأن الله قد أحاط بكل شيء علما. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من شر نفسي من شر كل دابة أنت آخذ بناصيتها إن ربي على صراط مستقيم. يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك أستغيث من عذابك أستجير. أصلح لي شأني كله ولا تكلني إلى نفسي ولا إلى أحد من خلقك طرفة عين. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الهم والحزن وأعوذ بك من العجز والكسل وأعوذ بك من الجبن والبخل وأعوذ بك من غلبة الدين وقهر الرجال. اللهم إني أسألك العافية في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إني أسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في ديني ودنياي وأهلي ومالي. اللهم استر عوراتي وآمن روعاتي. اللهم احفظني من بين يدي ومن خلفي وعن يميني وعن شمالي ومن فوقي وأعوذ بعظمتك أن أغتال من تحتي. اللهم أنت خلقتني وتستهديني وأنت تطعمني وأنت تسقيني وأنت تميتني وأنت تحييني وأنت على كل شيء قدير. أصبحنا على فطرة الإسلام ولكلمة الإخلاص وعلى دين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وعلى ملة أبينا إبراهيم حنيفا مسلما وما كان من المشركين. اللهم بك أصبحنا وبك أمسينا وبك نحيا وبك نموت وعليك نتوكل وعليك وإليك النشور. أصبحنا وأصبح الملك لله والحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم إني أسألك خير هذا اليوم فتحه ونصره ونوره وبركته وهداه. اللهم إني أسألك خير هذا اليوم وخير ما فيه وخير ما قبله وخير ما بعده. وأعوذ بك من شر هذا اليوم وشر ما فيه وشر ما قبله وشر ما بعده. اللهم ما أصبح بي من نعمة أو بأحد من خلقك فمنك وحدك لا شريك لك فلك الحمد ولك الشكر على ذلك. سبحان الله بحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله بحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه مداد كلماته. سبحان الله بحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله بحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله العظيم وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله العظيم وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله العظيم وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله عدد ما خلق السماء، سبحان الله عدد ما خلق الأرض، سبحان الله عدد ما بين ذلك، سبحان الله عدد ما هو خالق. الحمد لله عدد ما خلق السماء، الحمد لله عدد ما خلق الأرض، الحمد لله عدد ما بين ذلك، الحمد لله عدد ما هو خالق. لا إله إلا الله عدد ما خلق السماء، لا إله إلا الله عدد ما خلق الأرض، لا إله إلا الله عدد ما بين ذلك، لا إله إلا الله عدد ما هو خالق. الله أكبر عدد ما خلق السماء، الله أكبر عدد ما خلق الأرض، الله أكبر عدد ما بين ذلك، الله أكبر عدد ما هو خالق. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم عدد ما خلق في السماء. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم عدد ما خلق في الأرض. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم عدد ما بين ذلك. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم عدد ما هو خالق. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير عدد كل ذرة ألف مرة. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير عدد كل ذرة ألف مرة. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير عدد كل ذرة ألف مرة. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد مفتاح باب رحمة الله عدد ما في علم الله صلاة وسلاما دائمين بدوام ملك الله وعلى آله وصحبه عدد كل ذرة ألف مرة. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد مفتاح باب رحمة الله عدد ما في علم الله صلاة وسلاما دائمين بدوام ملك الله وعلى آله وصحبه عدد كل ذرة ألف مرة. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد مفتاح باب رحمة الله عدد ما في علم الله صلاة وسلاما دائمين بدوام ملك الله وعلى آله وصحبه عدد كل ذرة ألف مرة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون. إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم. إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم كل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين. واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون. وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون أأتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغني عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جند من من السماء وما كنا منزلين إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملت أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض من أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآية لهم أن حملنا ذرياتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون ما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أن نطعم من لا يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم ألا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نعمره ننكس في الخلق أفلا يعقلون وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين ينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم يرى الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون. اللهم إنا نستحفظك ونستودعك أدياننا وأبداننا وأنفسنا وأهلنا وأولادنا وأموالنا وكل شيء أعطيتنا، اللهم اجعلنا وإياهم في كنفك وأمانك وعياذك من كل شيطان مريد وجبار عنيد وذي بغي وذي حسد ومن شر كل ذي شر إنك على كل شيء قدير. اللهم جملنا بالعافية والسلامة وحققنا بالتقوى والاستقامة وأعذنا من موجبات الندامة إنك سميع الدعاء. اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا وأولادنا ومشايخنا وإخواننا في الدين وأصحابنا ولمن أحبنا فيك ولمن أحسن إلينا والمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات يا رب العالمين. صلى اللهم على عبدك ورسولك سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم وارزقنا كمال المتابعة له ظاهرا وباطنا في عافية وسلامة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Let's just go over real quick as we do our dhikr up till Ishraq, which will take us today until, give me the time in a second, boom, right here, 5:48 today. So we have to have 40 minutes. So actually pretty early, and we're probably going to delay this dhikr after Fajr. We're going to probably, Adhkar after Fajr, push it back because 40 minutes is a lot. Usually their halaqah is about 30 minutes. So let's push it now for us to meet at it's 4:40. We meet at 4:45. Yeah, let's pin it. Let's just keep it as is. And whenever MBIC changes the prayer times, we'll just change with them. So that's what we'll do. But I want to go over this just in case so people know what it means. Allahumma inna nastahfiduka. First of all, the word Allahumma is akin to someone saying Ya Allah. There's no difference between saying the word Allahumma and saying Ya Allah. So it's a word of dua. Okay, it's an expression of dua. Inna nastahfiduka. Al-hifdh here is guardianship and protection. So we place into your protection. So this kaf here is a pronoun, suffix pronoun nastahfiduka. We grant you the hifdh. In other words, we place the following into your protection. Okay, we place into your protection. وَنَسْتَوْدِعُكَ, and we leave it to you. We leave these matters to you as a wadi'a, or something to be protected. So what are we leaving? Adyanana, our deen, all of our deen. Wa abdanana, and our bodies, because you can't have a body. Deen is more important than life itself. And so the first thing is the deen, and the second thing is our bodies, because we need a healthy body to practice the deen. Think about this. You need to be healthy to make hajj. You need to be healthy to make siyam. You need to be healthy to make salah, right? To make a proper salah, you need to be able to move your knees. You need to be able to move your back. And one of the things when you go to the old Islamic world, basically, if you grew up, in the 80s and 70s, 80s, maybe even 90s, you notice that physical health was not something that was taken care of except by accident. In other words, that someone was a farmer by accident. There were sports, there were athletics, but it wasn't something that was popular amongst the people. It was quite popular that everybody at a certain age had a stomach and was not really aware of the dangers of keeping up an agricultural diet with plenty of meats and fats and ducks, okay, while living a city life. So it was a modern problem, right? That you had a agricultural diet, which means very rich foods, milks and creams and cheeses and breads that were really amazing food, but an urban lifestyle. Okay, and so when the cities happened, all right, the diet stayed the same, but the lifestyle changed. So there wasn't this moving and dragging an ox into the pen and going and harvesting and all that stuff. That stuff never happened. And walking to go get your water and walking, constantly throughout the city, all that stuff stopped. People started taking trams and buses and stuff, but the diets never changed, right? So you ended up with a whole couple generations of people who were very, very unhealthy. And it's not a good thing. It's not a good practice. And the Prophet ﷺ saw a man with a big stomach one time and said, that would be more appropriate on somebody else, because it's the food of like two people on one person. And the Prophet's mention of that is not just in passing. The Prophet ﷺ was said that Sayyidah Aisha said on his deathbed, his stomach was flat. She observed that on his deathbed, his stomach was flat. And for us today, as modern people, we're never ever going to have health determined by nature. In other words, the way of life today breeds disease. We sit still. We most of us work on a computer all day, and we have so many refined sugars and foods, and that our taste buds in the past never had, like something as sweet as Skittles or M&Ms. Imagine they've never had that. They just had honey. That was the best that it could get, right? Today you give a kid honey, he'd like push it away, right? So we have foods that they never had before, and we have ease of that food that they never had before. So we have a problem, and we have to make up for it. Well, we also have to make up spiritually too. What he says here, adyanana, that's something. So we have to go against nature in both the matters of deen and body and physical health. We have to go against society when it comes to matters of deen. Society's going one way, we're probably going to be going the opposite way. In matters of deen, beliefs, spiritual states, etc. And we're going to be going against the way of life and the style of life that we have now when it comes to our body. But we've noticed that human beings, when they put their mind to something, they do it. And there's the health movement is one of those amazing things where it's caught on all over the world that we produced a life that's bad for our body. It's good for many other things, but it's bad for our body. So we have to invent ways to motivate ourselves to do the opposite. And so the whole fitness movement is a worldwide phenomenon that is meant to correct that. Well, if we can do that for our bodies, why can't we do that for our souls? That we should all collectively really realize, at least let's start with ourselves as Muslims, collectively realize that the way we live is not good for our soul. We need to make up for it by a regular dose of education and a greater dose of remembrance of Allah and dua. He then goes on to say, وَأَنفُسَنَا, our souls. Obviously, the prerequisite to having a good body is that you're alive, so that's your soul. And anfusana also involves the states of your soul. Envy is a state of the soul. Mahabba of dunya versus mahabba of akhirah is a state of the soul. All those states, ahwal. Wa ahlana, ahl is your family, your immediate family. That's what we call your ahl. What is the value of having a perfect body when you have a bad family situation? And bad family situations actually, sometimes it could cause ill health, spiritual health, disease, and it could cause physical disease. Wa awladana, the ahl in specific is also the wife too, right? In specific, it's the wife. Wa awladana, and our children. You don't want to have problems with your kids. It's a big headache, right? It's a big headache. You don't want them going astray and being disrespectful and all that stuff. So you need to make dua for this all the time. But at the same time, we do not wrestle with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regarding his decree in our children, which is called al-i'tirad ala Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People have a conception of what's good and what's bad, and then Allah ta'ala gives them a test through their children, and we should keep our expectations decent. Expectation is you practice your basic deen, not asking you to be, sheikh shiyukh, just a good Muslim. You should have respect for your family and your elders. You should have good Muslim friends, and then you should be good at something. You have to be good at something, or else you're not going to make a living. So it's our job as parents to ensure these basic fundamentals. You pray and fast, and you know your fard ayn. You're respectful to your parents. You have good Muslim friends, because the friend is more important than anything else. And then lastly, you better be good at something. Get good at something, right? Because you have to earn a living. And if you don't make sure that they're good at something, then you've sort of led them into a life of unemployment or underemployment or poverty. Then he can't get married. Then he gets frustrated. Then he goes on drugs, and then everything because of that. وأموالنا. All this takes wealth to do all of this stuff, to take care of your deen, to take care of your body, to take care of your wife, or your wife, basically, to take care of your kids. It takes money to do this stuff, right? To take care of your wife, it takes money to make her to make sure that she's got health care, that she's taken care of, that she's happy, that she's not looking at the other wives and saying, wow, look at them, right? You don't want that. You want your wife looking at the other wives and saying, wow, mashallah, what a nice car she's driving. Or you want her to say, oh, wow, her husband, takes her takes her out. Right? You don't want to say that. It takes money to do these things. And your kids, you want your kids to be good at something. You can't teach them everything. And then sometimes it's impossible. Sometimes Allah has made it like difficult for the parent to be the teacher. So you need to hire tutors. You need to pay tuition. You need money for all this stuff. So we make dua every Fajr for our wealth, that Allah takes care of it for us. And wealth, it could come in different means. It could come in the form of physical wealth. It could also come in the form of that you never had diseases, that you didn't have car accidents that could have hiked up your insurance. Okay. So next time a little thing happens in the car, that could be your dua. It could be because of dua. Like one little thing happens in the car that you jerked and someone cut in front of you. That could have been an accident that cost you over the years a decent amount of money through car insurance. So don't think of wealth as merely dollars and cents in your bank account. Also look around you for the possible problems that didn't take place. Okay, and that's oftentimes wealth too. That's from the answering of dua. A person may not have a change in their income for 4 years. But hold on a second. In this 4 years, nobody broke their bones. No one got cancer. You didn't have a car accident. You should say alhamdulillah for that. And that's called shuhudul minna. It's recognizing the minna that Allah Ta'ala has upon you. Look at the non-negatives. Don't just look for the positives. Look at the absence of negatives, right? And that's so important for us to look at, because many people skip that. They just look at where's the dollars and cents. And that's actually silly, because dollars and cents fail. They can't buy you everything. Right? And a lot of times we get rewarded with things money cannot buy. Dua brings you things that money cannot buy. وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَعْطَيْتَنَا, and everything that you gave us. We ask Allah Ta'ala to protect everything that He gave us. Allahumma ja'alna, oh Allah, make us, وَإِيَّاهُمْ, and them, in other words, all your family, right? فِي كَنَفِكَ, in your protection, وَأَمَانِكَ, your security, وَعِيَاذِكَ, your guardianship, min kulli shaytanin marid, and every ill-willed devil. A shaitan here just means someone far from the mercy of Allah. It does not necessarily mean that it's somebody who is an actual jinn. It just means anyone far from the mercy of Allah. وَجَبَّارٍ anid. Jabbar is somebody who has no regard for authority, no regard for mercy. Anid, spiteful, someone who wants to get us, not for any reason except spite. They just don't like us. وَذِي بَغِي وَذِي hasad, and a person who, he's a transgressor. Some people, they want what you have for no reason except that they enjoy seeing and knowing that they could take something from you. وَذِي hasad, sahib hasad, a person of envy. A'udhu billah. The person of envy, he doesn't even want to take. He's worse than the baghi. The baghi will leave you alone if you don't have anything to take, right? But the person of hasad just wants to see you suffer. And many times I've seen complaints and heard complaints of hasad from families, right? And it's nothing other than they just enjoy seeing you suffer. Why? It's a disease in their heart. It's that simple. It's a disease in their heart. The baghin wa the hasad. وَمِن شَرِّ كُلِّ ذِي شَرٍّ, and from the evil of every person who possesses evil. إِنَّكَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ, verily you're capable of all things. Okay. One of the people who make, guess who makes hasad, who is one of the people that you can least expect it, but they do make hasad upon you? Your own self. Sometimes your own self is the source of the hasad. Okay. That you think to yourself, oh my gosh, this can't be possible. All this, I'm healthy, I have a job, I have this. You're doing hasad on yourself. But what does he remind you here? If Allah wills that that's what you have, that's what you have. What are you about hasad about? You're not going to be better than Sayyidina Sulaiman. He had nubuwah, he had he had looks, he was extremely handsome. His father had like a yellowish hair, Sayyidina Dawood. His mother, it was said, Allahu Alam, all this stuff has no sanad, but it was said she was a beautiful woman that had black hair. Sayyidina Sulaiman came out with black hair, and he was taller than his father. He was like a light-skinned, and he was extremely handsome, very gentle. He grew up as the prince. He became king. Allah gave him wisdom. Allah gave him nubuwah. Okay? And Allah gave him monarchy. He never lost a battle in his life. Sayyidina Sulaiman, if you wonder, if you want to say, oh, I thought righteousness were supposed to just be miserable and have ibtila. Wait a second. Look at Sayyidina Sulaiman. But he was acting. He was doing things in the world. No Nabi or Wali is given ni'mah except it's only because they're spending all their time for the sake of Allah spreading this message of deen and dawah. Nobody spread it as far and wide as Sayyidina Sulaiman, because he had all the power and he did it. So Allah's capable. If you see ni'mah, use it. Use it to spread the deen and to change people's lives for the better in any way, shape, and form that you can. But being effective doesn't mean you're going to be famous. There are a lot of doctors that are objectively effective. They objectively save lives, but nobody knows who they are. Even the person whose life they changed and that they saved, later on recounts it, and the doctor is the doctor. He's not like the person, right? Nobody remembers his name. He's just the doctor. What was his name? Oh, Dr. Chowdhury, or was it Patel? No, it was Chowdhury, I think. Patel was the first one. Chowdhury was the second one. They don't even know the doctor's name. The guy saved their lives. How many times, ask someone who had open heart surgery, ask them in their family. I mean, this guy saved your life pretty much, right? He cracked your chest open, fixed your heart, and put you back together again. Ask him his name. Ask him his first name and his last name. I guarantee you people won't even know. So just because a person's not known for something doesn't mean they're not extremely objectively effective in changing people's life in this world. Then he says, Allahumma jammilna bil afiyati was salama. Oh Allah Ta'ala, make us, beautify us with afiyah, which is protection, and salama, right? Completeness, protection from outside harms, and internally within ourselves, whole. وَحَقِّقْنَا بِالتَّقْوَى وَالْإِسْتِقَامَةِ, and make it a reality for us, right? Make real for us taqwa and istiqamah, that we be people of taqwa. And taqwa is really simply four things: obeying Allah inwardly and outwardly, and avoiding prohibitions inwardly and outwardly. That's a definition of taqwa. The ulama gave us definitions for everything. So the definition, for example, the tawbah is four things. Tawbah is a recognition of the sin, that we did the sin, then making istighfar, seeking Allah's forgiveness for it, committing not to do it again, and regretting having done it. Taqwa is also four things. Taqwa is obeying Allah inwardly and outwardly, and then avoiding his prohibitions inwardly and outwardly. It doesn't mean that if you commit one single sin that you're not a muttaqi. And the key is that as long as you're making tawbah from the sin, but also seeking to cover it up. in this life, in other words, you're not publicly sinning, then you still are a person of taqwa, right? As long and you're not a persistent sinner, provided that you make tawbah, right? So just so someone thinks obeying Allah inwardly and outwardly, therefore if I commit one sin, I'm not a muttaqi. No, that's not how it is, right? Provided the person makes tawbah and provided the person keeps trying to cover up his sins. Al-istiqama. Well, how did they define istiqama? Istiqama is that a person remains upon two things, or remains upon the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, in terms of beliefs and fiqh. In other words, their beliefs don't exit the known Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah over the years. So that's the one thing. And the second part is that they remain with the Jama'ah of Muslims, physically with the current Jama'ah of Muslims. In other words, that they don't go off astray. The opposite of mustaqim is, like balal, someone who goes on balala, someone who goes out off the path. And when we say that, we're talking about the main beliefs of Ahl Sunnah and Al Jama'ah, and the main way of living as a Muslim. So that requires, some persistently staying in the masajid, keeping in touch with the teachers of the day, etc. وَأَعِذْنَا مِن مُوجِبَاتِ النَّدَامَةِ. Protect us from the things that require regret, or that bring about regret. All right, you never want to. There are certain things that aren't like even sinful, right? They're minor sins, but they produce a lot of regret, like flipping out on people. You get angry with someone, you're going to regret it, right? Things like that. Some people make job decisions that they regret. I know a man who, he had a great job as a teacher of deen, and he was teaching students of deen every day. Great job. Then a local mosque said, hey, we'll give you double the salary, come be our imam. So he took it. And then it went sour. It went really bad for him. He didn't like it. It went sour. And then he couldn't get his other job back because they had filled that position as a teacher in the Islamic college, right? They had filled the position, so he couldn't give his job back, right? And so we end up not really being unhappy, having to get another job, etc. And so he said one of the biggest mistakes is that you never trade a job in which you're serving Allah just for money, right? You never trade that off. But he really regretted it, and he spent years recovering from that. So it's not something sinful, right? He didn't do anything wrong, but it's something that he regretted big time. Innaka sami'ud du'a, you have to never forget that Allah is qadir muqtadir. He's capable of all things, and that qudra is the bedrock of dua. To be iman bil qudra. I've said this many times before. What shaitan wants us is to believe that Allah exists. Fine, believe Allah exists, worship Him all you want, but don't believe He's that powerful, or He's really powerful. And you should only put His power, attribute it to, like, okay, the awliya and the anbiya and the olden days when things used to happen, and today it seems like Allah has no power over anything and there's no point in making dua. That's what shaitan wants us to have, a religion of where we believe Allah exists, but we don't believe He really has any power. That's really where shaitan wants us. And once people are upon that, the religion truly collapses. And then you have to know that He hears dua, He loves the dua of a mu'min, and loves answering those dua. And if you don't believe that He's going to answer your dua, that's another problem. You have to have that optimism. Optimism is from iman. And that's why Allah rewards it, even from, even you can even say from, non-Muslim, non-believers. Optimism is rewarded in this life. Maybe not in the akhirah for them, but in this life it's rewarded, because optimism is really a branch. It's like a cousin of iman. It's you're trusting, you're hoping. And many people, they go into life and they say, I want to go in a situation where I don't have to worry, I don't have to hope for anything, right? Why? I want to be in complete control. I don't want to have to hope for something. Why would you? Well, so you don't trust in Allah then, right? Because hoping is also one of the relatives of iman. Okay, there are certain fields where you have to hope that things are out of your control, but that's where you're going to benefit, right? Is by trying to take a little bit of a risk. where things are out of your control. But that hope is actually from Iman. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala placed 9/10, according to the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, 9/10 of wealth is amongst the traders, merchants, because merchants have to hope. They have to buy something and hope that there is a seller. Of course, they have to research it, right? But that they got to hope that they make sales. And so that hope is actually, if you think about it, it's a relative of Iman. Even if they don't know what they're hoping in, that literal act of hope feels like the act of dua. When you're inside yourself hoping for someone, to say yes to a deal or to make a sale or something, physically speaking, it's very similar to the act of dua. Even if the businessman is not placing their hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's very similar. And so we shouldn't avoid, we as Muslims, especially us, as when we know we have Al-Qadir and Muqtadir on our side, avoid any situation that requires hope. Okay, so we should go into these. Don't be afraid and say, I'd rather just something guaranteed, right? Where I don't have to hope. Why? Why wouldn't you want to hope? You're making dua anyway. Okay. So then he says, Allahumma ghfir lana wa liwalidina. Oh Allah, forgive us and our parents. Wa awladina, and our children. Wa mashaikhina. You can pronounce this with a hamza or with a ya. A lot of times they're interchangeable. And our mashayikh, our teachers, wa ikhwanina fid din, our companions in the deen, wa ashabina. What's the difference between ikhwanina fid din wa ashabina? Ikhwanukum fid din are people that like you study with, you do ibadah with, you go to the same circles. They're your ikhwan in the deen. You believe the same things, you have the same shuyukh, etc. So, for example, in the masjid, there are people we have conversations, we study together, right? We practice the deen together, we have the same beliefs, the same teachers. But then there are people who are our ashab. They don't do that, but they pray in the same masjid, and they're our friends, right? That we keep company together all the time. So we would categorize that as our ashab. The sahib is just somebody whose company you keep all the time, right? So the local people in the local mosque, that's the company you keep all the time, right? So there are our ashab, and they have rights over us. وَلِمَنْ أَحَبَّنَا فِيك, everyone who loves us for your sake. وَلِمَنْ أَحْسَنَ إِلَيْنَا, anyone who's ever done good to us. والمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات يا رب العالمين وصلى اللهم على عبدك ورسولك سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم وارزقنا كمال المتابعة. Grant us a complete followership to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, lahu, to the Prophet, to him, ظاهرا وباطنا, inwardly and outwardly. So there's followership. If you have a beard, you followed the Prophet. But is that enough? Right? If you have a beard but you're a jerk, you tried to follow the Prophet, but you didn't. It's not complete, because the Prophet wasn't he didn't like that amongst his companions. If you have a beard and you don't envy people, now you're 2 steps in the right direction. So followership of the Prophet, there's easy stuff. The outward is the easy part, right? But it's the completeness of his guidance over a long period of time. You ever look at, they say like, who should be in the Hall of Fame? It's someone who's done well over a long period of time, not over 2 years, right? No, it's over a long period of time. So وَرْزُقْنَا كَمَالَ الْمُتَابَعَةِ, it's the kamal of the mutaba'ah, the completeness of the mutaba'ah is not just in what we're doing, but it's in the duration of our life. And if it's going to be the duration of your life, you have to lower, okay, the bar has to be very balanced. You see some people, shabab usually, which is fine, really. I don't even blame it. But they get a kick and they really want to transform themselves. This is natural, and it's good to make a sort of a break with the past. And now he's got a beard down to his chest. He's wearing, a thobe, probably the same thobe because he's a zahid now. It's got like curry stains on it. He's a zahid though. Like he's completely left the dunya. All he does is study and memorize Quran. Right? This is all he does his entire life. He prays tahajjud and he fasts. And I would say that is great for a year, provided that they're able to be guided back to normalcy. not normalcy of the past, but a path that they could actually sustain. Sustainability is more the right word than normalcy. Imam al-Haddad himself talks about this. He said, young people, they come into the deen and they have so much fire, okay? And it's not expected for them to keep up that initial fire. All that's expected for them is to keep at least part of that or half of that, because it's not sustainable, right? So Imam al-Haddad himself recognized, the ulama of suluk, they recognize that initial burning fire. Sayyidina Umar himself recognized it. He said that's how everyone begins like this, right? And if you don't begin like this, that's not good. You need to begin. When I see a young person begin like this, number one, I say, okay, that's very good, provided that there are some male influences like a dad, right, an older brother, a community, a teacher maybe, that after about a year, you have to actually adjust now into something more sustainable. And you have to make sure that shaitan doesn't trick you and push you off the cliff. You have to have that. When I see a young person that he never has that, it's like either he's naturally balanced or is not, it's not strong. Okay. So when I do see that in young people, and I had that phase myself, I went through that phase myself and drove a lot of people crazy because I didn't want to get out of that phase. But you physically have to get out because you burden yourself physically. You can't keep it up. Okay. And so there's a natural, is a natural phase, spiritual phase called al-ba'ith, where you're inspired. And that's good. Go with it. But when you get the signal from yourself, from inside yourself, and when your teachers are telling you obey that signal, to tone it down and return to sustainability. Okay. You're not doing anything wrong when you do that. And your teachers and your older brothers, your teachers, your fathers, they're telling you the right thing. They're not telling you to be less religious. They're not coming from shaitan. They're telling you the right thing, which is be more sustainable in your ibadah so you can go the marathon now. Khalas, you've burst through shaitan. You didn't burst through shaitan. You only burst through the first few chapters of his playbook. Okay. That's what you burst through. And you succeeded in that. And by the way, that deserves a pat on the back, because how many people don't do that ever? So you deserve a pat on the back. However, he has other tricks in his playbook. The next trick is to push you off the cliff. Okay. He wants to push you off the cliff. And now you never return to sustainability, normalcy, and maybe he pushes you outside of Ahl Sunnah by becoming an extremist. You can be an extremist in multiple ways. Extremist doesn't mean violent. The rahib in Islam is as an extremist as much as irhab. Irhab is what we call the modern word for terrorists. We don't have a word like that in Sharia, but the modern word for terrorist is that. But the rahib is also an extremist. The rahib is the monk who goes off and he doesn't marry, he doesn't have friends, he never has fun, right? He doesn't know how to talk to people, and he just worships all day and all night. We don't have this in Islam. So that's equally an extremism, okay? When you get those signals to return to sustainability, you should obey them. You should follow them. They're not, and that's why you have to have local imams and local people who are experienced, because you're going to just end up living like them, because they've figured out what's normal. Right? They've figured out what's sustainable, I should say, and so you mimic them. In the beginning, you may outwardly actually be looking like you're stronger than them, and it's true. You are doing more than them. You're young. You're a college kid. You got no responsibilities. You think you have responsibilities, but you don't. Right? Your responsibility is to take like an economics exam. Big whoopty. Right? You have no responsibilities. Final exams is not a responsibility, just for your information. You're lucky you're even in college, that you have parents to pay for this, right? You're expected to be more intense, to be doing more ibadah, to be doing more fasting, more tahajjud, right? You have kids to take care of at 9 in the morning? No, right? You have a job? Not really. So you're expected to do all that, and you should be doing all that. But there's going to come usually about 12 months, maximum 18 months, sometimes even just 6 months. Everyone's going to be different, where you realize I need to be sustainable. Okay. And you got to look around and see what are the local imams, how do they live? Okay. And that's what sustainability is. So in the beginning, this is called al-ba'ith, and Imam al-Haddad talks about this in his book on Adab Suluk al-Murid, which maybe actually, we might do a course on it. I'm going to add one more course to the summer classes this year, inshallah. وَرْزُقْنَا كَمَالَ الْمُتَابَعَةِ لَهُ ظَاهِرًا وَبَاطِنًا فِي عَافِيَةٍ وَسَلَامَةٍ, in protection and in wholesomeness. بِرَحْمَتِكَ يَا أَرْحَمَ الرَّاحِمِينَ, by your mercy, O most merciful of the merciful. Right. So that's the dua. This is what I wanted to share today is, all right, so we're going to 548. By the way, while we're here, we have a minute. I want to give you a heads up that this is starting up again. All right. All of our classes are starting up. Obviously, due to the COVID-19 lockdown, all summer classes will be held online. Right? The world is now online. Be part of an online community that brings you peace, makes you feel welcome. Most of all, draws you near to Allah Ta'ala by His permission. Throw the worries of the world over your shoulder and let's start studying. That's how I live. Whenever I want to, get a kickstart, I go back to studying. Right? Go back to studying. So Mufti Niaz is going to cover a hadith course with ijaza on ArcView Plus. Okay. I'm going to be doing Arabic. I'm also going to be doing Hikam ibn Ata and Adab Suluk al-Murid. I'm going to be doing both Adab Suluk al-Murid and Hikam ibn Ata. It's just not up here yet, but I'm going to be doing that. And we have Ashir Adrian Kirk. This is a special brother. He's going to be doing interactive tajweed class. All right, for men and women. Yusra Qandil, Stories of the Prophets for tweens. Tweens is that annoying age, 11, 12, 13. And then Ali bin Saad is Hadith for youth, high schoolers basically. And Fiqh for kids by Ali Batti, Hala Amr, and Afnan al-Hiyari. All right, so this is our online program. ArcView for foundations, everything is in ArcView, and then ArcView Plus is the scholarship track stuff. So the scholarship track stuff is 2. Mufti Niaz's Hadith course with Ijaza, and then Hikam and Adab Suluk al-Murid, which I'll be doing, inshallah. It's not up here, but I'm going to be doing it. Classes are structured by trimester, fall, spring, and summer. This is obviously going to be the summer term, June 21st to August 21st. Students take live classes via Zoom during term time and sometimes YouTube, then catch up on pre-recorded classes at myarcview.org during the breaks. Okay. And then this is how you sign up on ArcView Plus or ArcView, right? And we've really made this super cheap for everybody. All of these classes, all of them, everything we have, including the pre-recorded ones, for basically $49 a month. It's basically free. And most people would have paid that amount in gas and coffee. If we had live classes at MBIC, you would have paid gas at least twice a semester. That's 50, and you'd have got coffee at least twice. That's $50 right there. So basically, I would say basically it's free, even though you're paying $49, but it's really free. And then the ArcView is really, $10 a month. We're basically giving you money at that point. The classes that are already accessible is Quran Introduction to Tajweed, Sciences, Causes of Revelation, Surah Al-Kahf, short surahs, Summarize Sahih Muslim, Wisdom of Seerah, that's ArcView Plus, World of Angels, Lives of Man, Hikam ibn Atat, that's ArcView Plus, Virtues of Seclusion, Summarize Ihya, Manifestations of the Unseen, Remembrance of God, Alchemy of Happiness, Arabic Alphabet, Introduction to Arabic Grammar. And if you have any questions, myarcview@safinasociety.org. All right, so that's, what a beautiful website. I wonder who made this website. It's really something else. I could look at this website all day long. All right, let's take a look now at your questions real quick before we wrap up. Salams from Sani. Alaikum salam. Azra Fuad. Alaikum salam. She says here, is there also a different kind of barakah to be a murid of a sheikh? With the way I teach between MBIC and Safina Society, I don't necessarily go into those details because these are subjective for people. I give people a heads up. You better not. One thing I'm telling you not to do is dive into a relationship with a sheikh, okay, without having seen other people do it, having seen what their families are like, lived with them, etc. Otherwise, you just don't know where you're going. So, for myself, I personally did meet a sheikh, but I never dove, and I was given many of warnings by my parents not to dive in like a fool into a relationship and have some of these people that are like so close to a sheikh. What are you talking about? You just met him 2 days ago. What are you doing? You just watched 2 videos, and now they're like, you can't even go to the bathroom without asking the sheikh. It's just silly. It's just not right. It's not the way people have lived in the past, nor should live, and nor from the hadi of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But you find someone you benefit, and the trust grows over years and decades. Then you have a natural, organic relationship, and that becomes someone who's almost like a mentor. That's really what the sheikh is like, and then he becomes maybe a little bit more than that to you. But then it's just got to become organic like that. So, but yes, there is, if there's benefit, there's benefit, right? Then there's definitely barakah in that. Can you please give a lecture about having sabr for being single and the virtues of not committing zina? I have single Muslim friends who are thinking about marrying men who commit zina and are not religious. I talk to my friends about this, but they don't seem to listen. Maybe if you give a lecture about this, can this let them think more wisely about this? I've seen some religious dreams, I don't know about dream interpreters, to be honest with you. I think that it's an issue. The other point is the issue. The other point is basically the issue. Being single. And the only solution is keep yourself busy. That's the solution. If you're single, keep yourself busy. Because if you're idle, you start thinking about it and, going crazy. I mean, to me, being single and not married, it's not a tough test. It's not an easy test, but you can survive it if you're busy. And you got to have friends, and the friends keep you busy. So that's what you got to do. And you got to get good at something so that you can earn, so that you can get married. So you should be busy, getting good at something, and then, being with friends. Fatima Ahmed says, the somatic well-being is very much tied to the psychological well-being. Louise Hay book, You Can Heal Your Life. I'll check it out. I haven't read that book, but I'll check it out. Sani says, can you make dua for my wife? She has an ailment of her back that causes her pain. So much pain, it hinder her from working some days, subhanAllah. In this harsh time, we cannot go to the hospital, subhanAllah. One thing, I'm not a doctor, but when I had back pain, and I actually hurt myself when I was young in high school. I hurt myself. It was pretty bad for a period of time. I woke up very early in the morning, first thing in the morning, and I had a shelf in my closet that had a ton of pennies in it. And first thing in the morning, and I reached up and I pulled this huge container of pennies, and I pulled it down first thing in the morning. So obviously, naturally, what happened? I threw my back. I really messed up my back. There's a thing called the TENS unit. This thing was a miracle thing. TENS unit. This is if you have muscle spasms and muscle pains. I don't know if she has nerve pain, muscle pain, but you stick these little pads on your back and you turn this thing on. Oh my gosh, it's like magic. It basically scrambles your nerves so you don't feel the pain. I don't give medical advice, and neither does MBIC have any liability regarding medical advice, but I'm just telling you the story that's something I got. And if you go to any physical therapists, it's, first 15 minutes, they'll give you that plus a heat pad. And that works miracles, really. That plus the heat pad, then you do the stretches afterwards. Of course, I have, again, that's just my experience with back pain. All right, it's 5:51. We've passed our time, and now it's time for Salat al-Ishraq. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta. نستغفرك ونتوب إليك والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.